So you sent us this article, and it really hits a nerve, doesn't it? It asks that big question everyone in digital marketing seems to be asking right now. Is SEO dead? I mean, with all the AI changes, things feel, well, different. Maybe you're seeing traffic go up and down, or you're just confused about what actually works anymore. So our mission today is to use this source you shared, cut through some of that confusion, and really understand what search looks like in 2025. We'll pull out the key things you absolutely need to know. And spoiler alert, the article suggests it's definitely not a simple yes or no.
Welcome to your marketing department, where we share the best tips for marketing your small business. And the full link to this topic is down in the description. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss our latest update.
It's less like saying mail is dead just because we have email, and maybe more like, I don't know, trying to send a fax today when everyone's on Slack or Teams.
That's a good way to put it. The basic need getting found is still there.
Exactly. But the way you do it, the methods, they've completely changed. And trying those old fax machine tactics, well, they just don't connect anymore.
Because the whole environment shifted. And the source we're looking at today from Unscrewed Marketing, they used to be Vicky Wu Marketing. They really hit this point hard.
Absolutely. And this isn't just theory. The author has, 30 years of experience? CMO, CEO level?
Yeah, Fortune 500 background, but now helping entrepreneurs navigate this stuff. That kind of track record means they've seen these big shifts happen before. Several times, probably.
They've seen things come and go, built strategies that actually survived algorithm updates that, maybe flew under the radar for some, let alone the massive ones.
Right. They've watched the web change from, the very beginning almost.
Okay, so our goal here for you listening is to take what this source lays out and really make it clear. We want to figure out precisely why those SEO tactics that felt essential maybe 5, even just 3 years ago, why they just don't cut it now.
Uh-huh.
We'll look at how search has kind of exploded, right?
Yeah.
It's not just Google anymore. It's everywhere. And how AI is really shaking things up.
And then what do you actually do about it? What does this new reality, they call it search everywhere optimization, what does that actually mean for your content, for getting seen?
It's about realizing the game's changed.
Yeah.
The field's been, completely redesigned. You need a new plan.
Oh, definitely. A new playbook.
So let's start right there.
Yeah.
The first big takeaway, that old SEO playbook, the one most people probably still think of first. It's closed. Finished.
They're pretty direct, aren't they? Saying SEO, as most people know, it should be dead.
Yeah. And what do they mean by that dead playbook?
Well, it's all those old tricks, trying to cram keywords into sentences where they don't belong.
Oh, yeah.
Chasing backlinks just for the sake of having links without thinking if they're actually relevant or from a site with any real authority.
Right. Quantity over quality.
And maybe the biggest one, optimizing only to try and hit #1 on that main Google search results page. Just that one specific goal.
And what's really interesting is they say this stuff working years ago. Not just with the latest AI stuff, but way before.
Exactly. The playing field moved long before the AI overviews really hit mainstream. The fundamental shift they talk about is moving away from just asking, what 3-word phrase are people typing into Google?
Right.
To asking a much bigger question. How are people actually trying to solve their problem? And where are they really looking for answers during that whole process?
That's such a crucial difference. And speaking of where people are looking now, we have to talk about the AI overviews and the latest Google changes. The source points directly at the May 2025 core update, calls it a game changer.
Oh, it absolutely was. That update brought AI overviews to, over 200 countries?
Yeah, and they activated what Google calls AI mode, much more broadly.
Which means those Gemini-powered results, they're not just listing links anymore. They're synthesizing info, summarizing things, often giving you the answer right there.
Right on the results page.
Yeah.
And the obvious outcome for your website, fewer clicks.
True.
If the AI gives the answer directly, people don't need to click through as much.
Precisely. And look, major updates always cause turbulence, right?
Right.
Volatility. But the source's view is you can't just sit back and wait. You need a strategy.
They've seen this before.
Many times. They mentioned navigating updates focused on quality, like Panda and Penguin, or understanding language, like Hummingbird and BERT, and even the earlier AI experiments like SGE.
And the key takeaway they offer is that their clients managed to ride out those waves because the focus wasn't just on, tricking Google's algorithm of the week.
Exactly. It was always about optimizing for people, creating content that genuinely answered questions, that provided real value. That approach, focused on the human user, is what made their strategies, resilient.
Which flows perfectly into the next big idea. Search is happening everywhere. It's just not contained in that Google search box anymore.
Not even close. The source lists a whole bunch of places buyers are looking now, way beyond just typing into a browser. I mean, yes, people are typing full questions into Google's AI mode now.
More natural language, right?
Yeah, but they're also talking to AI tools, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, asking them for recommendations or summaries.
And social media too, right? Scrolling TikTok or YouTube for reviews like best software for task X or something.
Totally. Or digging through Reddit threads, Quora answers, looking for what real people think.
Finding those authentic experiences.
Right. And even just asking Siri or Alexa while they're doing something else.
Wow. So when you think about that whole list, your potential customer, they're not just sitting at a desk anymore.
No way. They're on their phone, in line, talking to a speaker while cooking, scrolling a feed before bed. Your content has to be discoverable, and it has to make sense wherever they happen to be looking.
It has to resonate across all these different touch points.
It really does.
And that leads us right into this concept, search everywhere optimization. It's not just a catchy name. It's their whole framework for this new world.
Yeah, and within that, they also talk about something called generative engine optimization, GEO.
Okay, GEO. Let's unpack that a bit because it sounds important. They're saying it's part of search everywhere, but what does it really mean?
It's about more than just getting into Google's AI box, though that's part of it. It's about making sure your brand, your products, your services, how they appear when any AI tries to figure out what you do.
So not just Google's AI, but ChatGPT, Claude, others.
Right. Can the AI understand you? Can it accurately summarize what you offer? Can it quote you effectively when someone asks a relevant question? That's GEO.
So it's about being AI readable, AI quotable.
Kind of, yeah. And the source really stresses that SEO isn't this separate thing you do over here. It's got to be woven into everything.
Integrated.
Fully integrated. It connects directly to your overall content marketing, how you structure your emails, the messages you put out on video and social. It all needs to work together.
That integration piece feels huge because it changes the kind of content you need to focus on. The source makes this critical point. SEO isn't just about that initial discovery anymore, that top-of-funnel awareness.
No, not at all. They argue really strongly for putting way more effort into middle-of-funnel MOFU and bottom-of-funnel BOFU content.
Okay.
Content that matches how real people actually research things and make decisions, especially for bigger purchases or commitments.
Right. So MOFU, middle of the funnel. This is someone who's like past just realizing they have a problem. They're actively looking at solutions.
Exactly. They're comparing options, asking more specific questions, maybe digging into the details. They need proof. Does this kind of thing work? Does your specific solution work?
Okay, so what kind of content fits there?
Things like really detailed case studies showing the before and after, client wins with specific results.
Numbers.
Yeah, concrete results. Also, why this works type content where you explain your methodology. Comparison pieces are big too. Why our approach is better than the generic way, or comparing specific features. And crucially, making this content easy for AI to digest and pull out key points.
Easy to quote.
Right.
Got it. And then BOFU, bottom of the funnel. They're almost ready to buy.
Pretty much. They're close. They need confidence. They want to know exactly what it's like to work with you, what the experience is, and what the likely return or outcome is.
So this is where you need really clear offer pages.
Yes, clear, benefit-focused offer pages, not just generic descriptions, detailed pricing info, if possible, or explanations. Onboarding walkthroughs are great, showing them what the first steps look like.
Reduces uncertainty.
Exactly. Testimonials are huge here too, but ones that really show the transformation. And they also mention who this is for, not for content.
Oh, that's interesting. Why?
Well, it helps people self-select, right? They know quickly if it's a fit, but it also really helps the AI understand the context. When is it appropriate to recommend you?
Ah, makes sense. And all this MOFU and BOFU stuff, it's not just for humans clicking around your site. The source says this is essential for feeding the AI.
Absolutely essential. This is the substance that AI overviews, Gemini summaries, ChatGPT, whatever. This is what they can pull from to give accurate, helpful answers about you.
It's the proof points, the details.
It's how you provide the material for the AI to quote and reference correctly. You're basically shaping the narrative the AI finds.
Okay, so pulling this all together. The big conclusion from this unscrewed marketing source after we've dug into it is pretty clear. SEO isn't dead. Not if dead means getting found online is impossible.
Right. It's just changed. Profoundly. Fundamentally.
And If you've been feeling like your SEO efforts aren't working, like you're hitting a wall,
It's almost certainly because you're still playing by the rules of an older internet, optimizing for a search landscape that, well, it just doesn't really exist like that anymore.
the source basically leaves us, and you listening, with two really critical questions. They're kind of intertwined. First, can your strategy survive if you're not solely dependent on those traditional Google rankings? And second, can it still get you visibility even when AI is summarizing things and potentially taking clicks away?
Yeah, those are the million-dollar questions, right? Their answer, based on seeing decades of this kind of change, is yes, definitely yes. But only if your strategy evolves. Only if you adapt to this new reality.
So we've gone from thinking about old school keyword tactics to this world where search is fragmented across all these platforms.
TikTok, Reddit, AI chats.
Right. And AI is this powerful layer on top, summarizing, answering directly. It forces you towards this integrated strategy, connecting all your marketing.
And really doubling down on that valuable content, the stuff that builds trust and answers deeper questions that MOFU and BOFU content we talked about, content that works for humans and is digestible for AI.
Which means your own website, your blog.
It's,
Role is maybe shifting a bit.
it seems like it. It's still vital, but maybe the primary job is changing.
Which leaves us with something to think about, maybe a final provocative thought here. If AI is giving more direct answers, if search is scattered everywhere, how does that change the main purpose of your own content, your website, your blog posts? Is it still mostly about getting that initial click from one specific search engine? Or is its bigger job now to be the absolute authoritative, most detailed, most quotable source of truth about what you do and the value you provide?
The source that actually informs those AI answers.
Exactly, and provides the depth, the proof, the confidence for people who do click through wherever they found that initial mention. How do you make sure your unique value cuts through that AI summary?
That's definitely something to chew on for your own strategy. How do you become the source the AI relies on?
Food for thought.
Most entrepreneurs keep guessing. My clients, they get clarity and results. The Unscrewed Room is where serious entrepreneurs go when they're done chasing shiny tactics and are ready to grow smarter. If that sounds like you, the waitlist for the Unscrewed Room is open. Visit unscrewedmarketing.com now to check it out. You don't need another course. You need a strategy that works.